Hey, hi, welcome in. I would like to walk through the problems with the current orthodoxies from Donald Reinersten's product development flow. And, and what's interesting about the current orthodoxies is that this list that I'm going to walk through is 15 years old and it's still extremely valid. And so without further ado, let's just go through this. And by the way, be sure to like and subscribe. I will leave a link to this whole first chapter of Donald Reinersten's book in the and you can take it away. Look forward to your comments. So, problems with the current orthodoxy. First one is the failure to correctly identify economics. Most organizations don't know what their costs are, what their economic model is, what their work is leading to in terms of contribution to life cycle profit. They just don't know. If you took a poll of any workplace, you get 10 different ideas and they'd be out by 10 times, 10 times order of magnitude. Knowing your economics is absolutely critical. Blindness to cues. Most people don't understand because they can't see the work in progress, particularly in digital product development, because it's hidden that they're building up big queues of work and they're slowing down the organization. Unless you have very, very good idea of what's going on and great product people, this blindness to cues is just slows work down and creates huge bottlenecks. Worship of efficiency. I think of all these 12 orthodoxies, this is the one that drives me crazy because essentially efficiencies are they tend to be translated into saving money or costs, which is important, but it's not efficiency. That's just cost control. And cost accounting has been around a long time. There's nothing new about this, and it's, as mentioned, it's an orthodoxy. Hostility to variability. So, in other words, and this goes into the next one, which is worship of conformance. Let's do the things the same way. Let's have everything the same size. Let's have just basically not have asymmetrical work, which understandable from a logical point of view, it just doesn't do you any favors, this worship of or hostility to variability, or to have everything conformed to the same approach, the same process, the same way of doing things. Number six in this list is the institutionalization of large batch sizes, which comes in organizations that are excessively centralized, and that'll come up again a little bit later. So, institutionalization of batch sizes, large batch sizes, comes with the territory where you have risk averse mindset, lots of approvals needed for everything, always keeping your eye on the cost of things, not the value of things. Number seven is the underutilization of cadence. Cadence can be your friend. Most people really can understand what it's like to have an increment like a week or 2 weeks because that's the way they live their life. In fact, the ultimate cadence is your day. And 24 hours in that, you tend to be mostly on a routine or a schedule of some sort. But a lot of organizations, they just don't use cadence to their advantage. Number eight, managing timelines instead of queues. How many project management environments I've been in, change management environments where folks pay attention to the original ideas around time, not the value it's going to bring. And that management of the timelines, as opposed to how big the work is getting bundled up and not being released, is a real time suck. Absence of work in progress constraints. Interestingly enough, we all know that in any kind of flow environment, any place where work is being done, any workflow whatsoever, that the less work in progress means we get more things done. However, having said all those things, that thing, people try to take on and try to do too much, and without a really good scrum master or a leader or a manager, a product person to get them to limit, they basically have a push system where they're shoving things down through the workflow versus pulling them through. Inflexibility. Well, inflexibility speaks for itself. If you have an inflexible team, you basically have fixed mindsets, and that's not going to get anything accomplished. You have to be ability. You have to have the ability to pivot, be agile. Use processes that are changing and flexible and optimized. Inflexibility doesn't get you anywhere. Non-economic flow control. What does that mean? That means measuring the cost of what it takes to get something done, but not what that which is basically measuring the tasks and the costs and the effort going into it versus the outcome. And the outcome is what money you make or feedback you get from customers if you get the market on time. Finally, number 12, and this is a really big one, and it kind of, is related to some of the things we've already talked about, is the centralized control. Decentralized decision making, self-organizing teams has brought us some of the best products. I always go back to Toyota because Toyota is so good at managing things because they decentralize decision making down to the line. And hierarchical organizations are terrible at pushing up the decisions to the least informed, the least close to the work, and not with good outcomes. Decision makers who are close to the action, close to the operations, make the best ones. So those are the 12 problems with current orthodoxy. And the current orthodoxy, which I'll leave to you, is kind of explained in Donald Ronerson's chapter 1 in Product Development Flow. Um, and I'll leave it in the comments. Thanks for getting all the way through to the end. Appreciate it. And look forward to talking to you or hearing from you, either in comments and or some interactions in future videos.